Following his defeat at the hands of Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker on the second Death Star, Darth Sidious transferred his life force to a clone on the ancient Sith homeworld of Exegol. It would be from here, within his cloning laboratories, that the fallen Dark Lord would lay the groundwork for his return. For some 30 years, Palpatine would continue to build his army, while Luke Skywalker continued to rebuild the Jedi Order and the galaxy enjoyed its newly discovered freedom. The Emperor would oversee the creation of Supreme Leader Snoke. He would be made privy to the unplanned birth of his Force-sensitive granddaughter, and most importantly, like he once did to his failure of an apprentice in Darth Vader, he would manipulate the newest member of the legendary Skywalker bloodline. When the time was right, he would turn Luke Skywalker's apprentice against him, seducing him to the dark side of the Force, and once more, evil would reign across the galaxy. Snoke and Kylo Ren at the helm, but Darth Sidious in the shadows from the very beginning. In time, Palpatine believed Kylo would do what his grandfather could not, defeating the Jedi once and for all, and ruling the galaxy as the Dark Lord of the Sith. For many years, his plan appeared to be on track, everything proceeding precisely as he had foreseen. And when the young Emperor-to-be slayed his own father on Starkiller Base, Palpatine's greatest fear was quelled. In killing Han Solo, Kylo Ren seemingly took his final step into the darkness. From Palpatine's point of view, this act pushed Kylo Ren beyond what was ultimately Darth Vader's downfall. But boy was he wrong. The impact of his father's death would shatter Kylo's spirit. This would be the greatest failure, the greatest mistake of Ben Solo's life, as he fell victim to the same mistakes as Anakin Skywalker and failed to see what Darth Vader had recognized in those climactic moments of Return of the Jedi. To Palpatine, Han Solo's death marked failure in his attempt to save his son. But the reality was actually the exact opposite. Historically speaking, this moment would have served as a Sith ritual of sorts for Kylo Ren. It was common throughout their reign for the aspiring Sith apprentice to kill someone they cared for to prove his allegiance to the dark side. Darth Sidious and Darth Tyrannus both slaughtered their families. Darth Vader killed his wife and his Jedi Master, and this was meant to be Kylo Ren's moment of triumph. The Rise of Skywalker Visual Dictionary actually explains that this was Palpatine's intention. He wanted this moment to serve as Kylo's confirmation, so to speak, and an argument could be made that it did, but not in the way Palpatine hoped. The death of Han Solo does very clearly confirm one thing, and that is that Ben Solo is still very much alive. The greatest mistake of Ben's life is what will ultimately bring him back to the light. Snoke uses Kylo's regrets as a means to taunt his apprentice in the hopes that he will continue to commit more evil actions in order to prove himself worthy of being Snoke's apprentice, while Rey exposes these same feelings, recognizing that Han's death may not have been in vain. And in the end, she's right. The death of Han Solo is the key to Ben Solo's return. It takes those inklings of conflict and regret and it magnifies them to a point that they can no longer be hidden. Not from Snoke or Rey, not from Han before he even committed the act, not from Leia nor Luke, at times it seems not even from General Hux. Kylo Ren is broken, and that is very clear to everyone around him. Leia knew there was still conflict in her son, and she relayed that message to Han. And so now invigorated with real hope of getting his son back, and with nothing but love in his heart, Han reaches out to Ben. He assures him that it isn't too late, that he and his mother will stand with him, that everything can still be okay. Ben, however, feels that it is too late, and Snoke has convinced him that if he kills his father here, that conflict which rages within him will disappear. He agrees with his father that Snoke is using him for his power, but he also believes that he can destroy Snoke, and so he presses the button. And even then, after he rips his lightsaber out of his father's body and thanks his father for coming to him, Han places his hand on Ben's face, still with nothing but love for his son. No more words are spoken, but in that moment, Han apologizes to Ben, and that shatters Kylo Ren. Of course, to a degree, he regathers himself over time, but for the remainder of this movie and for much of Episode 8, Kylo's emotions throw him completely out of balance, and the memory of what happened on that day sticks with him until the very end. By the Rise of Skywalker, he's built this wall around his emotions, and these walls are strong enough that he is once again able to hide his emotions from most. He's now viewed by his lower-ranking officials in the First Order as a power-hungry killer once more. And although Palpatine does hold some skepticism about Ren's commitment to the dark side, he does believe that Kylo is capable of leading the Sith, and should he kill Rey as the Emperor asks, he will prove himself worthy of that throne. But Rey knows the truth. There's still plenty of work to be done, and it requires a very intense and unique set of circumstances to fully bring Ben Solo back. But she knows all along that what happened on Starkiller Base haunts him each and every day of his miserable life. Now, I know that a lot of people already understand the effects that Han had on Ben Solo. It becomes very clear once you watch The Rise of Skywalker, but I found it interesting to approach this concept from another angle. Looking at how Palpatine's overconfidence and his lack of respect for ordinary people like Han Solo, and the power these people have without the use of the Force, is a really eye-opening thing. And a similar message is relayed at the end of The Rise of Skywalker in a different way too, as the Final Order, which is superior to the Resistance in almost every way, overlooks the power of the galaxy at large, the power of the people to rise up and fight. The dark side and its followers were in complete control when it came to their number of trained fighters and their firepower. But what they failed to acknowledge is the potential strength of seemingly inferior competition when that competition gathers to stand up for what is right. This is true both for the Final Order and for the Emperor when it comes to Rey and Ben and their eventual coming together. And I think that's a really important message, not just for the Skywalker saga, but way beyond Star Wars, way beyond movies, and storytelling altogether. It's an encouraging lesson for anybody who believes in something strongly enough that they're willing to stand up and fight for it. Chances are you're not alone, and there are other people who will stand with you. Sometimes you just have to be the spark that lights that fire to take down that evil, whatever it is, which seems so insurmountable for a single person or a group of people to stand up to. But with that being said, I am going to wrap this video up here, so I hope you all have a great day wherever you may be. Please remember to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel for future Star Wars content, and until next time, may the Force be with you, always.